Hello everyone, this is Johannes.
And this is Cinema.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at ISS Vanguard.
This is a new cooperative campaign story-driven game from Awaken Realms.
It plays for 1 to 4 players in about 3 hours per scenario.
Per thingy. Yeah, we're going to start right off at thingies.
Yes.
If this is your first time watching Board Gaming Ramblings, or if you've been here before and you haven't clicked the subscribe button, what can you do?
Click the subscribe button. You kind of spoil it.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's not very exciting.
But if you haven't clicked subscribe,
it makes us happy.
It does, and it is exciting for us. So if you want to do that, it makes us happy. So ISS Vanguard.
Yeah.
We have played this game now for about 15 hours. We've been through kind of 5-6 rounds of the game, and we wanted to tell you all about what we thought about it. Like most of these games, we would have liked to just play the whole thing, but this is a campaign that can last up to 60 hours. And with all of the games coming out at Spiel and all of that, we really don't have time to do that. So just keep that in mind. We have played the game around 15 hours. This was a copy that we got from Awaken Realms, but we're also backers of the campaign, so that you know that we have also spent money if that's important to you. Again, this is another story campaign game, so there's not going to be a lot of photos in the video. We always try to have a lot of photos, but in these we can't, because basically after we play the game for 10 minutes, it's all spoilers. So we have a few pictures that you will see in the beginning and then no more. So before you be like, where are the pictures? They're not there for spoilers.
Yes, we're trying not to spoil anything game specific to you. So I think this video will be spoiler free.
It will be spoiler free, but again, as I said in the beginning of all of these videos, if you don't want to know anything about the game and what to expect, then don't watch the video before you played it.
Yes.
So a brief overview of ISS Vanguard. In ISS Vanguard, you are playing as the section leaders on the ISS Vanguard, and you are in space. I'm not going to talk about the mission. In space, trying to do space things. The game is basically 2 parts. Every time you're going to play through the whole ship book. So we basically have a binder. You open it up to page 1. You read through page 1. Go to the next page, read it, do what it says to do, all the way through to the end. And somewhere in there you are going to go on a planetary exploration, which is what you might call like the gameplay of it. It's gameplay in the ship book as well, but that is where you will move around minis, use cards and dice, take actions, and all of the usual like moving around on a map style of the game. There might be actions other places as well, but most of the action is going to be there. So we're not going to go deeply into what happens in the ship book and deeply what happens in it, but very briefly, on the ship, you can activate different facilities around the ship to produce, to recruit new crew members, to research different projects and so on, handle situations on the ship. You will be traveling around the star map trying to find out where you want to go next. You will then travel to that planet, and even that isn't easy all the time. When you come there, you're going to do the planetary exploration, moving around. You're probably going to have a mission that you want to fulfill. The mission may change, everything may change. You might die because it's harsh and it will kill you if it can. You might meet threats that can be monsters and everything in between, from monsters to not monsters and everything in between, that will try to kill you in different ways. And then you will either fail or you will succeed. Some people might die. Then you will get to put them in a memorial wall, which you then will get some special abilities for, and so on and so forth. You're going to continue doing that, and then the last page in the book is a save page, so you can save it. If you follow that, you basically have put the whole game away, and then you just start it again at next time you want to play it. So that is a very brief overview. There are how to play videos, there are some playthroughs out there. Go and check those out if you want to know more about that.
The artwork and components in this game are superb. I don't have any complaints about them.
Nope.
It's easy to move around on the planet to see what symbols there are, and also all the artwork on the cards and in the booklet and all the planets that you travel to. It's just like I have no complaints about it at all.
But you like it? You don't have complaints, but do you think it's good?
I think it's good.
Yeah, like most of the components are cards, for the most part. You have some miniatures. You're going to get some miniatures for the different sections in the box, and also a little miniature for ISS Vanguard. The rest of the things in the game is going to be cardboard standees for the base game. We got the one with the miniatures. I think that adds something to the game for me. You don't need it for gameplay purposes at all, but we don't usually play games with cubes. So I enjoy it. The few times we play games with not cubes, I enjoy miniatures to look at them and be like, oh, this is what people who play miniature games see all the time.
Yeah.
So I enjoy the addition of miniatures, but not something that you need. So if you buy the retail copy, you will get really, really great artwork and components.
Yes.
There is one thing, like a minor thing that I don't dislike, but it's kind of a nuance. It's when you play on the planets, you're going to open up a planet book and you will have different spaces. They can either be cards or things already printed on the board. When you place your miniature on that, and even if you're too many people on that, it's going to be hard to see what's on the space. So then you might be able to have to place them on the side, but it's hard to, am I here or am I here? I don't remember anymore. So it's kind of, but the thing is, it would have to be very big if there would be spaces for them, and you can place them basically on the name and the little thematic text. So if you read that first and then you go there, it isn't really in the way, but it's just one thing that I thought about when playing the game.
Yeah, it feels like they really have thought about like having the important stuff on the card centered to the bottom, so that you can place your minis on top of the card. Which I didn't have a problem with, but I like to read a little text before I place.
Yeah, and also you place the minis on half of the artwork for that space, so it's kind of takes that away. So it's easy to see the artwork everywhere. You're not.
Yeah.
This game needs a rulebook.
Yeah.
And if you have played any Awaken Realms games before, or if you have seen any of our reviews for Awaken Realms games, you will know that the rulebook isn't the best part. When we played Etherfields, the first time we had no idea what was going on.
It was
when we
horrible.
played Tainted Grail, the first time we had no idea what was going on.
What happened?
When we played ISS Vanguard the first time, I knew everything that was going on.
Yay.
This is a very good rulebook.
Yes.
And this isn't just like a good rulebook compared to the other rulebooks. This is a very good rulebook. One of the reasons for that is a name that is Paul Grogan. Paul Grogan did work on this rulebook and makes it very good. There is one thing, like this rulebook is almost 50 pages long. And all the way up to page 25 is the tutorial, which means that after you have played the tutorial, you only need from page 27. So I would have liked it for this to be kind of like a Fantasy Flight rulebook, where you had two separate rulebooks, like a Learn to Play rulebook and then the rest of the rules. It just makes it a bit harder to look things up, but then again, you don't look things up that much because it's very clear.
Yes.
I have to say that I was very, very, very pleased with this. I read, you can play the tutorial and read the rules at the same time. I don't enjoy doing that, but we did play the tutorial. I just read the whole thing, tutorial rules before, so I could teach you, and then read the first turns, which is scripted for you to learn the different rules, which is a great way of learning the game. And then you have some small tweaks and rules that you have to read the first time basically something happens and you don't understand it. One thing I have to say is that the ship book, all the rules for the ship book are in the ship book. There's none rule in here. When I read this, I was like, but how does this ship face work? How does that work? And it's just saying do the ship face now. And it's like, okay. And we open the ship book and it's all just super clear. Yeah. Every single rule is in there. There's a lot of text, so sometimes I wish there would be if the heading is 3 and do this, I would like it to be a 3-1, 3-2, 3-3, or just a little dash to help me differentiate which points, especially when you know it.
Yeah.
Because the first time you're going to read the whole thing, but then when you get into it, you're just going to go this step, do that. And maybe for some of the resetting stuff, I would like it to be, or setup stuff, I would have liked it to be step, 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 step.
Yeah.
But rulebook, and also play rates, great play rates in the game.
Absolutely.
2 thumbs up for that. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. We love to play these games, just the two of us. So we play these storytelling campaign games 2-player. It has taken us about 3 hours.
Yeah, almost exactly.
Yeah, each time that we have played, and that is 1 hour with ship face.
Yeah.
approximately 1.5 hour on the planet, and then a half an hour of cleanup after the mission.
Yeah, the rest of the ship phase,
yes.
basically. From page, I think, like 26 to 40 or something like that.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot, but it's not like you... When I read it was 40 pages, I was like, oh, do you have to read 40 pages every time?
It's fine.
You don't have to do that. So yeah, I don't feel like that is long.
No.
Because we're going to talk more about the ship phase also, but I feel like everything has a great flow.
Yeah.
It doesn't take... There's no dead time in that time.
No.
You're doing things all the time in that 3 hours. And of course, if you're playing with more people and discussing more, that's one of the reasons we only play these games with 2, because I don't care about discussing my brain out when playing co-op games. Because if you know me, co-op games isn't my favorite thing. But then I love the storytelling co-op games, which is weird, but that's just how my mind works.
Yeah, but I feel like if it had taken like, let's say 4 hours with 4 people, because I don't think that you will add like a double amount of time.
That's true.
I think maybe if there was a lot of things that I wasn't like very excited about, I would be a little bored. But like when we're playing 2 players, I feel like it's my turn all the time, and we're doing everything together. So I think it just like flows. Yeah, the time flies by.
So as you said earlier, kind of in the overview, the gameplay is split up in 2, the ship phase and the gameplay phase. No, not the gameplay phase, the ship phase and the planetary exploration phase. So let's take a deeper look at those.
The planetary exploration phase, you are on the planet. You play like, I play one person or like a section, and you play a section.
But we play one person,
Yes.
that's like the 2
And
persons on the
you
planet.
can move around, you can do dice checks, you can gather samples, you can mostly try not to die, and you have to move around on the planet, and it's very thematic. You feel like you can read a little fluff text on the space and be like, oh, okay, it makes sense what I'm trying to do, and the outcomes that you're trying to avoid sometimes are also mostly thematic. So I enjoy that phase. Some planets have been less harmful than the others. Some has been like really cutthroat, and it's been like sheer luck if one of us has survived.
Very on the edge, like
Yes.
like great co-op games are, where you think halfway through, we are dead.
We're dead.
And then you win and you basically high five and you go, woo! And we actually did that the one time we played.
Yeah.
I must say that so far I have enjoyed the different planets feeling like different planets.
Yes,
you
I
feel,
agree.
I'm just gonna make up stuff now. You feel like you're on an ice planet, or you feel like you're on a burger planet, or you feel like you're on a fries
Fire
planet.
yeah.
So you feel these different planets feels very differently, and makes every time you go to a new planet, you're excited to see the planet and excited to find out what there is going to try to kill you.
Yes.
I really think that it is good. We talked about this in our True Rank Legends review, that the gameplay in that game it felt very repetitive. You basically moved somewhere and you did an event or you attacked someone.
Yeah.
And these kind of games need to have like a bit more layers for them to not be repetitive,
Yes.
because that is mostly what you're doing here as well. You can do like move actions, you can rest to get your dice back, you can do a prepare action, which basically just draw a card and do a small dice check if you want to, which is like very seldom you're going to do that. Most of the time you're going to move around and you're going to do special actions.
Yes.
And you can only do one special action in a turn, and you have 2 actions on your turn. So that means that you are many times going to basically do the action and rest to get back some dice. Or you are gonna move somewhere and do the special action.
Yeah.
And that might feel kind of, or seems like it's gonna be rinse and repeat, but because everything is so interesting and exciting, it doesn't feel that way. Every time I go to read a log, I'm excited to see what happens.
Yes.
Every time I get a new card, I'm excited to see that. Every time I want to rest, we're going to see, do we have enough supplies? Because you use supplies every time you rest, and you're going to have few of those, and you only get a few dice back, and then you have, every time you do a dice check, you have to really, how many dice do I want to use depending on the dice check? I want to make it work now, but if I use too many dice, then all of them get used up and I have to rest again, only getting to do 1 dice check, and then I have to move, which costs 2 more dice, and there's just like, the resource management makes it very, very interesting, and makes that, and the resource management with the twists and turns of the story,
Yes.
the interesting things that happens. I feel like we really enjoyed Lord of the Rings, Journeys in Middle-earth.
Yeah.
But most of the time, where you find something, it's like, oh, something is glimmering. Get a lore.
Yeah.
You have used that joke many times
Yes.
already. And this game doesn't feel like that at all.
No, I
There's
agree.
been no place, like, of course, every place can't be like a huge story point, but everything has been interesting. You have learned something about the planet, you have found something, explored something, because this game is very much a exploration game.
Yes, absolutely. And the things that you mentioned there are so important for me to care.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Trudvang, I didn't feel like it didn't matter if we killed that gnome or something
Mm-hmm.
this round because we couldn't die. I can just try again next turn and it's boring. But in this game, I feel like the stakes are so high. We haven't lost that many times, or like
We haven't lost. No, but we almost lost.
But I feel like I don't want to lose.
No.
Like, and it's been so close, and we feel
we
like
have lost characters.
yes, we
crew
have.
members have
Yes,
died.
We have had
Talk about
some.
that soon.
We have experienced death, but I feel like I really care about what's going on, and I feel like my decision matter. And that is so important to me. And
one thing I want to talk about that before we go into the rest of the things is that to make it clear to you know that this is so far at least an exploration game.
Yeah.
It is about the exploration. It's not about doing this like without spoiling anything. Like there has been a quest that's just been like walk around and explore.
Yeah.
And then something probably going to happen or maybe not. Like you don't know, and it feels kind of like this. I haven't played a game, but I played like some games in the same way. But like No Man's Land, the game that was a big flop, but has gotten a great following afterwards. Where you can it's a video game where you can basically drive around. You don't drive, but fly around in your spaceship in an infinite planet like infinite planets.
Yeah.
And you go to a planet and you might find nothing. Or you might find some minerals, or you might find a horrible monster that will kill you.
Yes.
And that is kind of how this game feels.
Yeah.
Not probably you're not going to go somewhere and it's super boring because they have made plans for the game, but it's an exploration game. That's just what I want to do.
Yeah, and the actions that you do in itself are very simple. I feel like the gameplay, like the dice checks, are like rolling some dice. You get to choose which dice you roll, and you have to, should I roll these dice as well? I have to rest to get them back. I don't want to roll so many. And then you can do some mitigations with your cards, or if you have dice left over, you can use your cards to like utilize them in other ways. I feel like it's the whole package that makes it great because like the core mechanisms are very simple in itself.
Yeah, the game is very special, well different, because as we said, we are playing the section leaders.
Yes.
There are 4 sections in the game, and I think this way what makes this very unique is that I am not playing this character. And I usually am a big fan of playing the character. That's why kind of like in Sleeping Gods, where we play 9 characters, but then you got to feel a little bit of all the characters.
Yeah.
Here you're just like playing recruits. And you get a small story for them, which I enjoy, and it's enough to make you feel like you know that character like a tiny bit. But it's more you are the leader sitting on ISS Vanguard and giving them orders for what to do.
Yes.
And that makes it feel like a very unique game. One thing, like you have these 4 sections, and there's one thing that they're sometimes like, oh, the science player decides, or the security player decides. And for me, that feels like kind of a tacked on thing, because especially for us when we play 2 players, I don't know. Maybe people play co-op games and they can never decide on a thing.
Yeah.
Because that's what it feels like, that
Yes.
this player has to decide. But when we play co-op, we decide together.
Yes.
And it feels...
Oh, that's so romantic.
But it's but I feel like that's kind of the point of co-op games. So I feel like that is kind of a thing that's added for people who can take choices together.
Yeah, I
And
think so too.
for me, then I would play with another group. But that's just me.
Yeah.
If you like to play co-op games with people you can't agree with, you do you.
Yes.
So should we talk a bit about the shipbook?
Yes, let's do it. In the shipbook, you're going through like a management phase. And in this book, you're basically like the higher ups, I feel like.
Yeah, we're still like the section leaders, but this is more of a higher level management compared to the management of 2 different people on the planet.
Yes, so here you have influence on what like production projects or science project or like recruits that ISS Vanguard should focus on. And I feel like that is really nice because this is I feel like this is behind the scenes almost, and you get to do like this these I don't know, like planning for onwards. It's like investing in future gameplay, and you move through the shipbook like from page to page, and you just follow, like you said earlier, like all the steps.
I feel like this is kind of where the other is like a skirmish video game of moving around and exploring the planet. Then this is more of a simulation game of how would it be to run a spaceship, basically.
Yes.
So you, as I said, like you produce things, and that might give you equipment that you can use on the planets, or it may gives you modification to your lander that you use to land on the planets, or it may give you different upgrades for different facilities that you use. And I feel like this is a phase which maybe some people will not like, but I think it's a really fun thing.
I agree.
And compared to, we liked the slumbers in Etherfields, but that was one of the biggest part of the game most people didn't like, or not most people, but the most people didn't like this. And I think this is going to be more people are going to like this, because for people like it the choices are important, especially like where you use you get some command tokens, and you're going to use them to activate different facilities. How many times do you want to do research? Do you want to fix this situation? Somebody is sick. Do you want to fix that before they spread the virus to all of the crew on the ship? Do you want to, that's just a random example. Do you want to do research? And then you have to use the different materials that you found on the planet to do the research, and that will give you great benefits that as well. But you can't do it all, so you have to pick and choose what you want to focus on. Do you want more crew so that you can use the crew, because you also can send the crew to do different tasks in the ship phase. And then you have the star map where you move around and you can do some kind of events. You can move from a star system to another star system, and you will also land on the new planet.
Yes, I really feel like they've gotten this like upkeep phase to be very fun and interesting. And some people might see this like just like a thing that you have to do
to get to the action.
Get to the action. But I really enjoyed my time with it. I think also the star map is nice. Feel like there's some things that, for example, are in planets like floating around that you're like, oh, what's this? Maybe we need to go there.
A little sentence giving you like, this is here, and you're like, ooh, I want to check what that is.
Yes, I get a little of this video game feeling. That I'm like, this is not my main mission, but this looks fun. And sometimes it's not fun. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And you also have this kind of scanner mechanism where you can kind of scan the planet that you're going down to. So you have energy that you use to move around, that you use to check out this different point of interest, and you will use this scanner or the energy you have left to scan the planet.
Yes.
And depending on how much energy you have left, you will be able to find out more about the planet, which helps you then to choose which sectors you want to use, which characters in those sectors you want to use,
I really like that.
what equipment you want to bring with you. You don't know what you're going to meet, but you get some kind of hints, basically, on you might want to have this symbol available on your dice, or you might these different planet types, or these different space types are there. So there's many different ways of going through it.
Yes.
Let's talk about the story.
Let's do it.
Because so far everything is good.
Yes.
For me, at least. So, what do you think about the story?
I think it's very good so far. I think the writing is really nice. I think there's some, already in our short play of it, some twists and turns that I haven't foreseen that makes me go like, oh, I'm excited to learn more about this.
Yes.
As I feel like I'm invested in the story. Some things that I feel like is a little different from other of these storytelling campaign games is that it feels a little less personal for me this time. I don't know if it's just like not having one character that I am. I think that's definitely one of the reasons why. Yeah. But I feel like you're not like, you're more of a unit. I'm not this person. I don't have like this personal thing that I'm very excited about. Yeah. It's not much like role playing, like, oh, what would my character do in this scenario?
I don't usually do that a lot anyways.
I don't know. But sometimes people do that. For example, in role player adventures, I made a lot of choices based on what I felt my character would be comfortable with, or like be in their nature to do. In this game, it's none of that for me. I think that the way that this game is designed, like you being a crew on a spaceship, is a little like militant, and I think it really fits the game. But it really gave me like a different feeling from the other games.
I think one thing is that it is way less character driven.
Yeah.
The story, like for example, you use role player adventure, which is one we love. The one thing I love there is all the fun characters you met.
Yeah.
So far we haven't met, like, you don't go to a planet and you meet an old man that gives you a fishing rod. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more situation driven than an exploration driven, the story, than it is character driven.
Yeah.
I feel that the planets in themselves is kind of the characters.
Yeah.
Like you meet this new planet, it has these things, it will react to you in this way, these threats are here, things will happen, oh, that happened on the planet, and all of that is going on in a different way. One thing to say is that kind of compared to Tainted Grail, for example, or Tainted Grail is basically a continuous story game. This is more like Etherfields in the way that it is kind of an episodic story.
Oh yeah.
You go in Etherfields to a dream, here you go to a planet, you have the story of the planet, and then you will go back. I will say so far, without spoiling, if you haven't played any of Etherfields, any of it here, this is more also have a concrete overarching story so far in this game than Etherfields had. Etherfields was way more about like giving you hints, what is the story here and there, like trying to be like, can this be the story? Is this the story?
Yeah.
Here it is more like an overarching story that seems to be so far very good, giving you kind of hints here and there on what might happen later. But so far I really like the story. I like all of the things we already talked about basically in the gameplay. I really enjoy all the things that happen on the planet. Feels that exploration, feel like you are exploring. I feel like, oh, I'm exploring this thing, and then, oh, that happened, and oh, we have to go further and see this thing, and then that cool thing happened, and I'm saying things and things because I can't talk about anything that happens.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think that this feels more of like a series, like Star Trek, than Star Trek the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know? Get it?
Yeah,
It's like segments.
20 minutes show episodes.
Yes.
Like a Doctor Who episode with...
I really feel that the app for us using that has
because there is an app.
There is an app.
Yeah.
You don't have to use it, but I really recommend it.
Yeah.
Like the voice acting is spectacular. It's so well done, and I feel like it gives a little more personal. Like it's a little impersonal, but with those voices that give life to the story, and sometimes they have these a little personal like things that happen, like sometimes they joke a little banter with each other, and sometimes things go south and they get mad about that. I really like both how it helps us like go forwards with the gameplay.
Yeah. It makes it quicker.
Also, like the story element of it is great.
I don't see any reason to not use the app. It goes quicker, and also like for me, who is the reader of all of these games, it's so much better for me because when I open a page and there's like 60 different logs on it, it's hard to not see anything here and there. And when everything is hidden in the app, it makes it so much better. And the narration is great. It's not just a person reading it. There are sound effects. There are different voice actors doing different voices. And it is just very good.
I would say that this is a medium heavy game. Like the actions that you do in the game are fairly simple, but there is so much information. There's a lot of rules to get into.
Yeah, it's 48 pages of rules, even though you don't need all of them to get started, and some of them are repeated in the tutorial and in the main rules.
And also, even if like an action is simple, it's still a little complicated to actually be like, should I do this action now?
Oh yeah.
And what could we do to actually survive? Because that is sometimes very hard.
And for example, even though the dice checks get really fast internalized for us, there are like 10 steps to the dice check.
Yes.
And in the beginning, we're like, okay, we do this, and then we have this, then we do that. So there is a lot, but I will say that with these rules, I think everybody can get into the game. If you are a person who have bought a game or thinking about buying the game, you're probably going to be in the category of a person who will enjoy it and will have... And there's great videos online, so you can watch like a 40-minute video and you don't have to read the rules at all.
That's cool.
So just use it as a reference. And it has a great reference on the back, which I love, with all the different keywords. So you can just, I'm looking for an outcome requirements, page 33. I go there and I get what I need.
Yeah.
So that is really good. So the last thing we need to talk about is the most important thing is the final thoughts, and is it fun? Do you want to begin?
Yes. I think it's super fun.
Yes.
I just want to keep on playing it.
Yes.
It's very, very fun. I think there's it feels different. It feels fresh, but it's overall very solid. I enjoy both the planetary phase and the the ship phase.
Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes luck in these co-op games can be a little frustrating, but it has to be there for it to be a game.
Yeah.
And you have like these decisions like, do I want to take this risk?
Absolutely.
And also have some cards that, or you can be on the same place and try to help each other.
Yeah.
So I think that I don't mind the luck in this game. I think it's...
You can play good and you can play bad. Like one time we did really poorly was because we basically ignored the mission and did everything else.
Yes.
So then we were really close at losing. So that is also something you have to keep in mind.
Yeah, and sometimes you can play risky and be punished for that. Yeah. Or you can play very safe and that luck won't come and hit you as hard in the face.
That is true.
And that is a choice you have to make. But I just think it's a lot of fun. I'm going to give this a 9. I think the reason it's not up there in the 10 is maybe the little personal, that I feel a little distance from it personally, that I didn't get this like, oh, I'm this character coolness that I experienced in most of the other games that are story-based campaign games. But I feel like this is really up there with all of the other solid campaign story games that I've played.
The last of these kind of story games that I really just wanted to continue playing, I think, was Lord of the Rings. And that has a horrible story compared to this and a horrible exploration compared to this. For me, right now, this is one of the better games in this kind of category. And I usually enjoy being this character and getting to know my character. If you go and watch our True Young Legends review, you will see that I'm a huge fan of that, getting to know the character and getting to understand more of why he's doing things. But I just love the fact that they have done this more of like, it feels more like a PC game or a video game where you are more of this like simulation where I'm building things and I'm sending people out on missions and sending them to attack this and do that and do that. You are the controller, the puppet master doing all of this. And is it fun? Yes. The first tutorial, we just played a tutorial. Then we played the second mission. I was like, oh, I hope this, I had fun, but I felt like it was a bit simple. And it's so hard to say because I felt like, for me, a co-op game has to be the perfect balance of being punishing but not too punishing, being hard but not too hard, being like lucky but not too lucky. And I feel like this, after that first one, which I felt was kind of meh, then the other ones we played after that has been fantastic. I had a lot of fun every second I played, and I love the ship book phase where you do like all of the actions. Like it feels like a simulation game. You have to, okay, you can use this character, I can use this character, and we can get that. Oh, we got some great equipment. Use that now. That makes this so much simpler, and you can mix and choose. I love the fact that you have 90 different crew members that you will. Probably your game, you will see some crew members we'll never see in our whole campaign. People can die, you can get new ones. This really reminds me of a Suikoden, I don't know, an old JRPG for PS1, PS2, and DS is one of the ones I played it on, which is a game where you are also recruiting all of these people to build an army, and this is kind of how this feels, and I really love that. I don't feel like there's many things I don't like about this game. When thinking about the ratings, like the last games we have rated, I rated it kind of high, like we 10 and a 9 and all of that, and I'm having a hard time. This is, of course, after 15 hours of play, so it might change.
Absolutely.
But right now, I think I'm going to give this another 10 out of 10.
Oh, that is
there
so
is
cool.
Really, because there's really nothing I can say, oh, but I can't see the reading of the text when I put my mini. That's not gonna dock it.
That's an 8.
No, but I know there's nothing. I'm just having a lot of fun the whole time, and it is one of the best co-op games I personally have ever played.
Yeah, cool.
And I hope that it continues being that way. I hope the story continues being that way. This is one, like most times when we play these kind of co-op games, like, oh, we're going to continue playing it, and then we never do. This one we have to set a date for. That we're going to not watch TV, we're going to play ISS Vanguard instead. This weekend, do we have review games we have to play? No, let's play this, because I want to continue and I want to play through the campaign.
I agree.
And I think that's it.
Yes.
If you are still here after this extremely long review, because we had so much things to say about this game, then and you haven't subscribed,
Yeah.
what can you do?
What are you waiting for? It's a button down there. I command you to press it now.
Command.
It's fun and it's free and makes us happy. Like this. If you want to do something that's not free, you can.
Go to patreon.com/boardgamingramblings and support us there. And that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Sunniva.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.